Hello. So I want to talk about my scouts. So for my Warhammer 40,000 army and for kill team, I've got my scouts. I've got a lot of scouts I painted, about 30, and I wanted to do a vehicle for them. I was looking through the spacemarine codex, and the only vehicle that could transport the scouts, well, the rhino was the vehicle that could only really transport scouts, devastators, and a tactical squad. So I thought, right. So with the Primaris project going on, all the rhinos will probably be handed down to maybe the scouts. So I thought, right, I'll go for some rhinos for my scouts. So I kind of just made them a little bit more scouty. So I can put a scout in there if I want to. So I've got like a firing platform. Now I've gone for heavy stubbers because they're reasonably similar to a Stormbolter rules wise, and it just kind of it feels right. Now my chapter is generally monster hunters, so they got a troll head on there just for a bit of fun. Toilet roll dispenser, of course, and a few bits of equipment on there. So that was the first one I did. I then did a second one, which is this one here. Now this one here, I got the servitor sticking at the top. So I imagine the servitor doing a bit of the work, and I tried to use a bit of plastic bits from bits box and a bit of chopping to make some rhino doors on the front to look more like the traditional rhino from the late 80s, early 90s. Again, so most of my vehicles for this chapter are this purple that you see on top and on the back door, but I kind of look at it as the scouts haven't quite 100% earned their colours yet. So I think it just makes them look a bit different and a bit more scouty and easier to kind of get behind enemy lines. So I also thought, well, they can also take a razorback, so I made this. Now this is a 3D print that I did I printed it the wrong size, and it was for a dreadnought conversion I was doing. So printed it the wrong size, stuck in my bits box for ages, so I used it. And then, so the idea is that I filed down here. It's not very tidy, I know, but I just kind of completely cleaned it off underneath, so you can sit on top here like so. It just clicks in like that, and then if I need to, I've got a razorback. There you go. Lots of gubbins on there. Can't know if the back door's open or not on this. Do they? No, they don't seem to. So yeah, there we go. So these were old ones in my bits box. These rhinos. And one of the guys at the local game store gave me a sprue of bits that I could use to upgrade it. Like this doze blade on the front here. So that was very kind of him. And there's just a few little extra bits I could use here and there. But yeah, the painting is quite simple actually to get this always weathered look. So I'm going to do a painting video going forward, and I'm going to show you where I came to next. So another thought I feel about scouting is that they need more scouty vehicles. Now to me, the Invader is more of a scout vehicle. So this one here is, the plan is to make 3 of them. This is the first one I did. I had to drill this hole in here. I kit bashed this on 3D Builder of all programs, not the best program for it, using files I found on the internet on various places. I just kind of kit bashed this together, and then just other bits as well. But I've tried to keep the feel of the Primaris So that comes off. I actually made this here with a little lug on here, so it was bigger at the bottom. At the top, so the idea was it would kind of straighten it as you put it in, but I might have to cut it off on this one because it just makes it a little bit too tight getting into this hole. But that was always the plan anyway. If it was too tight, I could do that. But this one's been, that was drilled. I'm going to explain again, like I said before, heavy stubber kind of represents 2 bolters effectively. So in my mind, so it just is as good as is kind of a stand-in. But yeah, so that's this is all 3D printed. But yeah, so that's my chapter. I had a few issues when I built this. Originally I did like a grate on there, which really badly printed. So I had to print this piece here, which then slid in there and went on top afterwards. And then I incorporated that into my next 3D print. So I'll show that in a minute. I've also got, so I can take this one out and I can put this one in here like so. So there's no technical magnets or anything like that. I can literally just cut that out. Well, it's not in properly because I'm trying to do this on camera. But it does sit down properly if you want to. There you are. He's in there. He's nice and sturdy. He's not going to fall out. I can literally tip it out like that. The basing is really simple. It's kind of there's a 32mm base there. There's a beer bottle top, and then there's this piece of plastic which I just kind of put in there for secureness. You're not going to look underneath when you're playing. Like I say, this was the first rendition I did, and you can see from the painting that and on the same with the rhinos, I tried to go for a kind of a rogue trader feel. So I kind of kept it to modern 40k, but also tried to give it that rogue trader kind of space marine punk feel, i.e. the psycho on the front. I was just going through the original rogue trader book, looking at different graffiti and stuff, and taking ideas from that really. But yeah, little kill markings on there. Even if they don't go perfect, it doesn't matter, because these are scouts that are kind of writing it on, little kill markings, things like that. Yeah, but yeah, I like it. So yeah, I should show you now my next one I'm working on. So this is the 3D print for the second version I did. So this is how they come out. I still need to take a few of the supports off here. I'm taking most off in hot water. This misprinted here, and it misprinted here. But apart from that, it was a pretty good print. I've got a bit of a problem with my printer at the moment where I've got like a bit of a leak in the vat, so it caused a bit of an issue on the screen, which is why I've got these issues here. But that's the print, effectively. So that, and then I've got my gunner, and again, because of the same issue, the melter gunner didn't print, so unfortunately I haven't got a melter for this one, but I can always just do a little print later on when I fix the FEP. So this again was kit bashed on 3D Builder. This one had the hole put in 3D Builder, so I can literally just, this time, I can just slide them in like that, which is much better, I think. It makes my life, because it took a lot of work to actually drill through. I didn't really have the right equipment. Yeah, and again underneath, see, it's not very much special. That's the hole that goes right through to the top for this. It's not very tidy underneath, not very pretty, but then it doesn't need to be because you're not going to see it in a game. You can see on this one before I do anything else, you've got some controls in there as well. So if I wanted to, I could paint the controls up. If I do a third one, I might do it so we can actually do that. Then the gunners, this is something I need to modify. I wasn't sure how it was going to go when I did the first one, and I've used the same gunner file for the second one. So I did the legs opposites effectively, and the idea was I could slide them in and away we went. But hindsight, being the wonderful thing it is, I should have in some ways put them inside there in 3D Builder and then did that as a file to print. With the first one I did, what I did is I just chop the legs down so he kind of stubs, and then just kind of slide them in there because it's all in a dark recess, so you're not going to see it. But yeah, so that's my two optional heavy stubbers. I had to move the magazine to this side because normally the magazine sits on this side here, so I had to actually physically mirror it over, because obviously you need the ejection port, because if you have the magazine on the wrong side, then you can be ejecting all your shells into the poor driver's face, which is fine if you're driving on the European or American side of the road, but as it's British, we're going to have the driver on this side. So the gunner that failed to print is this one here. So it's not the end of the day, end of the world. So I might try and do a few modifications, or I might be able to keep him to one side and then at some point either have him like that or make another rhino and maybe get a rhino like this and put him in the back there manning the gun. Actually, that's quite a good that's not actually a bad thing already, is it? That's, do you know what, I might just paint that and stick him in there like that. That would actually work really well. Okay. That's a nice little surprise. So yes, so that's we've gone to those. Now the original concept was, before I started putting scouts in my attack vehicles, was, oh, they're coming back, was to have Phobos versions. This is my Phobos version I did to begin with. I'm not, as you can see, I've not painted it yet. I've had to drill the hole by hand, and this is the piece that I've had to print separately and then slide in with the most recent version that's incorporated. And then the gunners, I've got my, oh, you can't fit them in there, but they're on these so I can paint them basically. And then because they're 3D printed, because they're all kit bashed, what I've had to do is I've used double-sided tape on the base and then glued them to the double-sided tape so that when I pull them off they don't, because the problem with resin is it sticks really well super glue, to the fact where the super glue is stronger than the resin, so when you break it the actual resin kind of shatters in that area. So not so good. So that's a good way of avoiding that, is to actually put a bit of double-sided sticky tape down first and then super glue them to this double-sided sticky tape. And this is the melter. So the idea is I'm going to have 3 scout ones, and then I'm going to have one of these and a bike squad to go with it. The bike squad, again, all kit bashed again, so they're floaty. There's a few bits online. Someone's made a conversion kit, so I also found the bikes online a long time ago, so I had them being in my file section for ages, and I just chopped up some some Phobos to go on there, and then obviously to go with the hunting thing. I've got that, so I've got him, and then I've got this one here. I was originally going to go for reavers on the bikes, because that made sense in my mind, but not in this particular case. I decided after reading the background that these would make more sense than Phobos. It's not Phobos, than reavers. So yeah, these are my Phobos on effectively jet bikes. So they're going to be basically like this, with this dude with them. Pardon my small child. She's doing what sounds like panda karate behind me. But yeah, so that's where I am at the moment with this project. So I'm going to come back and I'm going to start doing in another video how I paint these scout looking vehicles using this one as my example. So hope to see you back here. I have been away for a while. I do apologise, but yes, I lost my eyesight for a while, and I've just got it back after an operation, so I can get back